Hello, everyone. Welcome to a fantastic episode of The Tasting Table, brought to you by Was That in Good Taste. We got a very special episode because we have a very special bottle of whiskey that we're going to be tasting, brought to us by our nearest, dearest bartender de extraordinaire, James Berry. James, can you give us a little background on how you acquired the... Oh, sorry. Wait. I'm Chandler. I'm one of your hosts. He's also the other host. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Yada, yada, yada. Tell us how you found this bottle of kind of the elusive High West Midwinter's Night Dram.
It's so interesting because we have been talking about this for years. I was excited. I said to you, we had to try it today.
We've just got to.
We have to have it because back when we worked in a liquor store back in 2019, 2020.
Those were the days.
We heard about it. Then we'd seen it, but it was out of our price range. It still is.
Okay, I had tried the Act 7 C4 at one of the little whiskey bars in that area. I think it was called...
Wasn't it? You talking about On the Rocks?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am thinking of On the Rocks.
Yeah.
Super friendly people there. They let me try so many fun and interesting stuff just because I said I was in the industry, and I was like, I work at the whiskey shop around the corner, and I love to try some of the more expensive stuff. And they're like, well, it's about shot o'clock. And yeah, great guys there. If you're ever on the rocks at 10th and 49th in Manhattan, check them out. They're pretty dope. But anyway, they had the Midwinter's Night Dram there. Yep. It was one of the most interesting, intricate, just like it was a Rubik's Cube of flavor when I tried it then.
And so when I went into the local liquor store and I saw it, I just thought, okay, it has to happen. This blend of straight rye whiskeys finished in port barrels needed to be in my mouth and in my tummy.
Well, not just any port barrels. They're done in both ruby and tawny port barrels.
Oh.
So it's a different dimension. One's going to have a more brandy-ish or like a caramel, almost like a marshmallowy kind of sweetness to it, while the other is going to have a little bit more of stone fruit and cherries kind of fruity depth to it. That'll give it that discrepancy in the type of port. Also, tawny port tends to have a little bit of like a poached pear kind of flavor, where it tastes almost like the pears in like a Dole fruit cup. But
I'm kind of a big fan actually of a tawny port.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's interesting. I would say, I wouldn't say jammy. That's not quite correct. You know what I mean? But it's nice. It's good and it's fruity.
Yeah.
Oh, and so I'm excited. So what is the inspiration of this?
So the background on the Midwinter's Night Dram is it's High West, who's based out of Utah, out of Park City. They began releasing it, I want to say in 2006, along with some of their first like official releases. It is their Rendezvous Rye, which is their proprietary rye whiskey. But then it's finished in, like we said, ruby and tawny port casks. What I have found interesting in my research is there's a bit of a discrepancy between the Midwinter's Night Drams between 2017, everything pre-2017 into 2018. And one of the big issues that a lot of tasters are finding is that High West was always transparent about the fact that they had used Barton's rye whiskey as their like they had bought out a bunch of barrels of Barton's rye whiskey and used those to then age, finish, and bottle. However, Barton's stopped making rye whiskey, and the last of their stocks were bought up by 2017, and so the Midwinter's Midwinter's Night's Dram. Everything post 2018 has been either a blend of MJP with their last over bits of like what they could make with Barton's, or it's been just their own juice. And so like there's been kind of variation across the different mash bills, how much rye they're using, how much malted rye they're using, what the ABV of the barreling is, and there's a lot of stuff that's still up to question and that isn't necessarily hammered down, but that just kind of brings or highlights how special and unique each expression of the Midwinter's Night Dram is. We're sipping on the Act 11, Scene 8. Yes, that is correct. The acts refer to each batch that they've done since, 2006? Oh, no. Sorry, not 2006. Since 2013, I think, is what...
so before they weren't really doing it in acts?
No, it was just like they would have their Burr Rye, or they would have their Rendezvous Rye, or they would have something along those lines. But each release since then has been the year is the batch, and the scene is the barrel. Or at least like that's kind of been how it's been organized, or at least the bottling sessions. Have you given it a sip?
I haven't. No, I've been enjoying listening and learning, and also remembering that we'd had that Cask Select Rendezvous Rye.
Oh yeah,
quite a long time ago. We're a big fan of High West, and I think it just feels good to go back to an old favorite, but in really a new expression, like in a way that we haven't had. I know you guys, you're waiting. All right, look, it's a leggy girl.
So
leggy boy, leggy they them.
I have
100 proof almost 99.
Damn, really?
49%.
That's almost
49.5
bottle and bond style. So the mash bill on this is going to be 95% rye, 5% malted barley from MGP, 80% rye, 20% malted barley. Or wait, sorry, I misread this. So there's going to be a juice that is 95% rye, 5% malted barley. That is going to be from MGP. We don't know what percentage of that is. However, then there's going to be an 80% rye, 20% malted rye from High West. That's going to be their proprietary thing. One thing that I've found with malted ryes a lot lately is the malt really comes through in like a deep kind of a richness, almost like a muskiness that it kind of reminds me of like a fermented black bean paste, where it has like that kind of depth to it, and it's not a twang so much. It's like almost umami, but it feels so trite to say like, oh, the umami flavor of this whiskey.
Listen, I'm over here chewing whiskey. You need to be quiet, all right? I'm literally over here chewing on whiskey. Whoa. I'm taking a second. I'm trying to figure out what I'm getting here. Whoa. All right. One, creamy. It's very creamy. AKA when it's on your palate, when it's entering your mouth, it's like almost smooth. Think milk. Think the texture, but it's not thick. It's not a filmy. It goes in. I don't want to say smooth. The finish. I'm going there first. Fruity, a little sweet, plum skin. Wow, that's like really good in the middle. Twang, barley. You can kind of get like that little bit of that funky, but it's like it's like that twang. I'm like over here chewing whiskey. I'm over here. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna give it a whiff.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm tasting it. This feels like dynamite. This feels like I'm just getting little pockets of explosion of like bite from the rye all over my gums. And I know you said creamy. I don't really see the creaminess, or I'm not getting the creamy. That maybe I need a couple more sips because like
You gotta give it a good swish, because the creaminess is like when you're drinking it as it's coming down, it's gliding over your tongue. It's actually leaving on your tongue in the middle. There's like a little bit of sweetness, but out on your gums and on your cheeks, that's where the twang is.
I'm almost getting like, you seen those things where it's like fruit on a skewer and then it's dipped real quick in candy.
Yeah.
So if you took like, again, those kind of like Dole preserved pears and then skewered like those pear slices and then dipped them in like a hot cinnamon kind of candy. That's what I'm getting.
I can see that.
Where it's like the bite hits you immediately and then the sweetness kind of comes up and quenches a little bit of that bite. But
there's
like,
something smoky here.
oh, that could very well be just the initial.
I'm getting a lot of sweetness on the tip of my tongue. Listen, this is if you're interested, this is the show for you. This is what the tasting table is. We're tasting.
It doesn't have the black pepper kind of vibe that ryes usually give, but it does definitely have that like cinnamon, like kind of almost a snake bite kind of tensity to it.
This is great.
It's a fantastic rye whiskey.
I am happy. This is so good. I am so satisfied. You're right. Red Hots.
Yeah.
Red Hots. Where I think Red Hots is a good example because I think it's not, if you don't like rye, okay, it's a little boozy, right? It's like 49.5%. It's very boozy, but outside of the booziness, Red Hots are it's a little spicy. Red Hots, the cinnamon actually doesn't last that long.
No.
Right?
But it's then, like just the outside coating of it.
Yes, and then there's like the remainder, and then you get that candy sweetness in the middle that's like there, but for this, I think it's a little delicate.
I have a hypothesis I want to throw at you.
Throw it at me.
If you like rye whiskey, you will like cinnamon hard candies. If you like bourbon whiskey, you'll like caramel hard candies, like a caramel chew or like a Werther's Original. And if you like Scotch whiskeys, you'll like root beer flavored hard candies.
I think those are all pretty true. Yeah, I agree with that.
And then I'll throw one more out there. If you like Irish whiskeys, you don't know the
there
love
it is, the dried
candy.
Fruit. I felt like I was getting the seed of like a plum.
Yeah, like a stone fruit.
Mm-hmm.
There is the depth, and I think that comes from the ruby port casking. It's kind of wild. I didn't find an exact age statement from this because
it says blended on it.
Yeah, and their rendezvous ryes are, granted, none of them are less than 4 years old, but they, I don't believe, have a age statement. Or if it's a straight rye, it has to be at least 5, right?
I don't remember. I'm head deep into this.
Can I just kind of redirect the conversation
of
just
course.
to tell you about something I learned about recently?
Of course.
Solera casking.
Oh, what is this?
So Solera casking, which I think is kind of brilliant, and it's a brilliant marketing scheme in general. But it's a style of casking that does barrel blending so that the average age of the whiskey in the barrel is always proportionally higher.
Mm-hmm.
But what Solera casking does is, say you have 3 barrels of whiskey. One of them you fill year 1. The next one you fill year 2. The last one you fill year 3. You let them age a year. You barrel half the third barrel, or you bottle half the third barrel. You transfer half of the second barrel.
You're playing the law of averages.
Yeah.
So they're just averaging it out.
So you're just averaging it out. And so by the 4th bottling, the stuff that you're getting from your third barrel in the cycle is actually closer to 8 years old than it is 3 years old.
If it works, it works.
But it's just an interesting method of blending that makes it so that you never really have to put an age statement, because also I think age statements can kind of be deceiving sometimes.
Oh, I mean, we're going to have the age statement. What the age of it is doesn't matter so much as all this other even macro information.
All this other mishigas.
It's like other stuff that matters, right? Because age might matter if you're looking at certain things. You're going to look at bottle of vodka. You don't care what the age is.
No.
A good bottle. Do you care what the age of your bottle of Blue Label is? No, you don't really care.
Well, you actually can't tell from your bottle of Blue Label. Again, because if something is expertly blended enough, age statements don't matter when it comes to whiskey. I mean, vodka age statement is not they're not aging it. And once it's in, that was the other thing. You were like, oh, we should try this for this episode. And I'm like, I don't know. Oh, geez, guys. I don't know if we should try a Midwinter's Night Dram. This is a nice bottle of whiskey. But at the end of the day, it's not gonna get better as a whiskey.
It's not gonna get better. And
it's only gonna sit there and taunt us.
We gotta talk about, again, when it comes to why you're drinking it, you should be drinking it to have fun. It's fun to talk about it. It's fun that as I'm drinking it, I'm getting more and more dried fruit. The more I'm drinking it, the more and more I'm getting not apricots, not prune. You know what I mean? Not raisin, but it's plummy, but kind of dried. Isn't that what a prune is? Doing that is fun, but even better, it's getting to enjoy things like this. With people.
It tastes like if I dipped a gingerbread cookie in maraschino cherry juice and then left that in the oven to dehydrate.
Old-fashioned with this?
Ooh, Manhattan with this.
Manhattan with this?
But not with... Okay.
We're non-traditional Manhattan people here.
I would not do this with a traditional sweet vermouth. I would search out Antica.
Yeah.
And then maybe even, now call me crazy.
Oh my God, that Standard Wormwood, they make all of their vermouths.
With Antica?
No, but they just make, they make all their vermouths.
Oh, that's cool. They do a sweet vermouth too?
Yeah.
I think this would almost be fun too if you added just a little back end of maraschino liqueur and something like this. A Sazerac. That's
yes, this would go great in a Sazerac.
And I feel bad saying a bottle of this caliber, having to ask it to be in a cocktail, but also
but
a Sazerac is the most quintessential cocktail.
What's the fun? Obviously, don't want to keep the bottle around here. Right? The end of the night, the bottle should be here. Then it should take about 6 months. Tasting, friends come over to get here. Once we get here, half the bottle, there's almost more air than liquor. It has to go. Am I wrong? Because
you got to get rid of it.
It's literally starting to aerate. I know
it's starting to oxidize.
It's not gonna spoil, but you're not spending good money on a bottle for it to fucking spoil. You know what I mean? You don't want to spend good money on a bottle for it to not be as good as it was when you first got it. Which is why maybe some scientist. Well, actually, if you sip on it slightly, whatever, leave me alone.
Bottles of whiskey aren't made to sit on the shelf. Well, they're technically made to be able to sit on the shelf, but that's not what their goal is. If you were to watch What was the Seth Rogen movie where they were all hot dogs?
Yeah, that one.
If you were to watch that, which they're coming out with like a series sequel or something, food
Whatever.
something,
The end with the fucking Jewish bagel
and the falafel.
and the fucking falafel. God, that humor is so 2016.
Still hot. Whiskey would be the number one who'd be like, get me off this fucking shelf. I've been living here too long. The whiskey is the Statler and Waldorf of alcohols, where it's just like, just drink me already. Oi.
It's the fun. One of these days, I'm going to open it and I'm going to make one traditional old fashioned with a good bottle like this. And since and you know this, Chandler, that's it. This is it. Am I wrong? Excuse me.
I had a lot more ice.
Just a little bit. There we go. All right.
I have a heavy hand.
Yes, you do. When it comes to, I love an old fashioned, right? But here's the thing. When I make a classic, when I get a bottle like this, I'm going to make an old fashioned with this maybe tomorrow. Then it's going to sit there. And when people come over, they're going to get a splash of it. They're going to get a little sip. Oh, look how fancy the bottle is. Because I think you just have to do that. Yeah. Yeah, with the ice, it's
with the ice, it's totally changed the whole fucking game, dude.
Okay, I'm not going to say nothing, but I think my palate is more sensitive than yours. Maybe it was all those years smoking tobacco or something.
What?
But I feel like with the ice, listen, I'll put this as a fucking Coke. If that's what you want to see.
Wait. Okay, wait. Sorry, I was trying it prior as all together, and it was kind of like listening to 3 different playlists on shuffle. There is almost the salinity. There's a quenchingness.
It was like that before.
Are you? No.
That was what I was talking.
Before my gums.
You know what? Can I say
like,
though? Can I say you say? But think about my spice tolerance as an example. I think that I'm less susceptible to that. So when I drink it, I do not get that at all. If it's high in alcohol content or it's really punchy, I get it straight up on my palate, not like on my gums or cheeks or anything like that.
Huh. Not in the gums, the cheeks, the tongue, the lips.
You said salinity, and when I said that it was creamy, that's what I meant. Instead of milk, creamy, think a liquid IV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's not
or
salty.
Like an electrolyte.
Yeah, it's not salty.
A Pedialyte kind of.
Yeah, it's not salty. Right? But it's going down with like this level of like it has the texture of the salinity.
There's
the dried
slight
fruit.
Viscosity.
Am I wrong about the dried fruit?
No, I see the dried fruit.
I think
I was picking up on the dried fruit before.
I think I'm not even joking. Actually, it's not even, to be clear, because everyone's palate's different. It's not a better thing. I eat a lot of hot sauce because my genetic mouth doesn't hurt, right? Which means that when I'm sorry, it's not my fault. So when I drink it straight, it doesn't hurt me as much. So I think I'm picking it up a little bit more without the ice.
Huh. Okay.
Black people drink whiskey like this. White people drink whiskey like this.
I think it's a good whiskey. I just thought at first it tasted more like I was kind of having a pound cake like a gingerbread pound cake that was soaked.
You were missing
in ethanol.
You were missing the icing a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that I have been feeling the icing from the beginning.
You've been feeling
I kept talking about the sweetness. I'm not joking, but the salinity, good effing call. Seriously. Because that exact wording is the kind of thing where it's like working your vocabulary. Because describing what things taste like isn't really so much describing what it is, but it's being creative and trying to express very clearly what it's like. Because it doesn't have salt in it. So it can't be salinic. But that's the kind of thing that you can compare it to. I think that was like such a good, seriously, that's such a good, because I couldn't get because creamy's not right. I know what a creamy liquor is, and you get something creamy, then after, because I said it, your palate's not coated.
Yeah.
A creamy liquor, your palate can be like it sticks. You know what I mean? It's like kind of just in your mouth.
It kind of tastes like if you're drinking contact lens juice.
A little bit. Yeah. Wow. What I want to do is I want to compare this with some other rye whiskeys.
You know what I'd love to do?
What would you like to do?
I would love to find a pre-2017 Midwinter's Night's Dram and try to find that. Listen,
I bet you it's like $200. I'm not even joking.
I'm only saying this because there's an audience.
Oh my God.
And like sometimes when you talk to an audience, they talk back. And if you can somehow find...
Oh, now he learned. It took him fucking forever. Now he's like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait, you can
there.
Utilize a following to pursue your own self-interests? Wait a minute. Am I Messiah?
I know. Oh my God, that's actually the reason why I actually don't like this. Don't subscribe. don't follow. Post on the TikTok. Make sure you actually unfollow all those things because
I look just like him. Like all of the pictures I've seen of him could be me.
He's gonna do some Midsommar shit. Okay.
Anyway, if you have a lead on any pre-2017 Midwinter's Night's Dram, let us know. Also, if you have any just recommendations for other cool rye whiskeys to try, or any whiskeys in general,
or show ideas,
or
comments, or thoughts,
questions, concerns, let us know. Where can they find all that stuff? Where would be the best touch point?
Well, since you're here, right, you can go right down wherever you're watching this, and you can click whatever link and or follow whatever directions. Listen, okay, I'll put you in on it, okay? Things are different these days, okay? So like, on TikTok, they don't really want you saying what the thing is. So if I clip this, right, and I go, oh, I'm gonna put this on there. You can't say link in bio, because they don't like that. So you have to be like, wow, make sure that you go to the description box down below.
What if I say Abraham Lincoln bio?
It's like, you know what? I'll be honest. TikTok knows when you say unalive. They know you mean murder. Yeah, you think TikTok like, well, I can't believe you. Oh, I'm not gonna say murder. I'm gonna say unalive. I'm gonna say SA. They know. Anyway, go to the bio. Go to the. You know what it is. My name is James.
I've been Chandler.
What did you think about this? Good
assessments?
Out of 5, real quick.
Oh, I think it's a 4.4 out of 5.
I was gonna think of 4.2 to 4.3. So I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna say we should do a 4.3. It's like in the middle.
Here's the reason. I have had a recent rye whiskey that blew me out of my colon.
I mean, and the thing is that it's great. The quality is obviously good, but it doesn't mean because it's expensive that it's the best thing and that you have to like it. Because remember, it's about fun because drinking is not required.
But it is recommended.